First, I'm going to start out with the simplest possible brushes you could make. Ones that just use twigs, grasses, and parts of small trees. So when I picked this, it had needles all the way down, but I just pulled some of the needles off to make room to wrap this securely by this part to one of these twigs. So as you can see, I have these lined up securely here. And what I'm going to do is take my scissors, cut off a length of thread that's about 9 inches long, like so, maybe closer to 8. And I'm going to begin by simply lashing these two together with a simple knot. So I'm laying them down side by side, like so. And I don't want to tie the knot in the middle. I want to tie the knot close to one end of the string. Like so. And then I want to move this knot up where it is close to the top of where these two meet. Not down here in the middle, not down at the bottom, but close to the top of where the twig and the little piece of fir or spruce meet. I'm going to tie that really tightly, and you can see that they're off kilter a little bit. Don't worry about that right now. You're going to fix it later. After I tie that tightly, I am going to make one more knot. Like so. Good. Now those two are pretty firmly lashed together, but you can still see they're off kilter. That's okay, we're gonna fix that. First, what I wanna do is take this little short end of string and tuck it down here, flush with the branch, so it will be hidden. Next, I'm going to wrap this string carefully around and tightly, very, very, very tight, to bind these two pieces of material together. Now you don't have to go all the way down, and in fact you don't want to, because you're going to need this little tail for tying things off. So I'm going to wrap this one more time, and now I'm going to take the little short tail that I left sticking out here, and I'm going to use it to carefully tie two knots, one on top of the other, just like I did at the beginning when I secured the branch to the twig of the tree. There we go. Now you can see these two are bound together, and I have these two little tail strings hanging off. And there's still a little bit of the end of the fir or spruce twig holding on here. What I'm going to do is try to hide these open spaces in the thread. I'm just going to push together in one direction and then the other to get those packed nice and tight. Just pulling with my fingernail. And if you can't get it all, that's okay. But when you can, it does have a nice clean look to it. Now, I'm just going to snip off that one tail end there, and then snip off the other tail end here, like so. Have a clean little knot there. And then let's see if I can snip off this little guy. I'm going to pull it out at a 90-degree angle, like so. Just take my scissors and snip, no problem. Now, if I wanted to, I could go back with another color of thread and put a bit here and put a bit here, rewrap the whole thing in black. But right now, you have a functional drawing tool, painting tool. Very, very simple, right? So let's give this a try with these reed grasses. The same principle, just like this. I'll take my twig, I'll have my two pieces of reed grass here, and I want to line them up where most of the ends are in the same place. They're not too scawampus. Once I've lined them up where they're basically in the same place, just how I want them at the end, I am going to trim these to be uniform. They don't need to be quite this long either, so I'll take about an inch to an inch and a half off total. So these are flush on the end. Now I'm going to do exactly the same thing that I did before. And there we go. Simple but effective binding. And you can see the handle is stiff, and this will create a nice pliable surface for some very atmospheric, very loose mark making. Also, not a bad broom. Now, let's put these to work and see their mark making in action. I'll get out my same paper as before, and I have all of this nice clean surface to work with. Let's try our fir or spruce brush first. I want to really dip the tip all the way into the India ink here, getting it nice and coated, really well coated. I wonder what will happen. So it doesn't seem to like to paint this way so much as it does to be dabbed across the surface and to make sharp, quick marks. What a nice spray pattern. Lovely. All right, how about our reed grass brush? Now, just because these fluff out so much and I have such a small container of India ink, I'm gonna run my fingers down the brush to make a nice little compact broom at the bottom and really saturate the tips in there. And then I'm gonna shake them off a little bit, just tapping them on the side here. And then fan them back out so that they're not all in one clump.